What is the worst insult you've suffered from someone who didn't even mean it as an insult? Was moving on from a job, and on my second last day my manager says, "Take tomorrow off, no one will miss you." He later informed me that he had meant that I should finish a day early, and that no one would mind. I, 35 male, was getting dressed one morning and my daughter came in before I had my shirt on. She's like 4 at the time and says, "Oh, you have boobs like mommy." There was no recovering from that. I started getting asked if I qualified for a senior discount in my 40s. My boss, pointing at me, said to others he may be fat, but he is most hard-working person here. A nicer way to say this would be, he is worth his weight in gold. His work ethic to workout ethic ratio absolutely crushes the rest of you. They call him 007. 0 absences, 0 lates, 7 meals a day. You aren't even that ugly. One word different, but I've never forgotten it, and it shaped my life from that day forward. From this day on, I knew that I was ugly, and though I learned to accept it, it still hurts. My best friend told me that I am only funny when I'm drunk. I was a recovering alcoholic, and man did that hurt. Kids are the best for this. "Daddy, why don't you use your weights anymore? Is it because you got fat?" I was getting asked out by someone who said, "I know other men don't find you attractive, but..." I politely declined. My kid told me they wanted to be ordinary like me when they grew up. When I was 25, I had bought a house in a suburb of a major city. One of my neighbors was elderly and came over to welcome me to the neighborhood. She asked if my wife lived with me, and I just stated I lived alone. She goes, "Oh yeah, the person that lived here before was a lonely guy too." Fucking ouch, Elizabeth. Old people with no fucks to give and no filter is a potent combination. Getting on an adult ride at the fair, operator says to me, "Ma'am, you can't ride this if you are pregnant." I was not pregnant. One guy said that to me before I got hooked up to a zipline. I'm a guy. A fat guy, but still. My dad was a smoker most of his life. When I was around 4, I didn't want to imagine my dad as an old man, so I told him, "Keep smoking so you can die young." When studying martial arts, I had an instructor try to teach me why a particular feint never worked for me. In order for that feint to work, your opponent must first respect your ability to complete the strike. Everyone here knows your abilities, so they don't fall for it. It was factually and technically accurate, and I understand what he was telling me. But after thinking about it for not very long, I realized what sick burn it was. I started jiu-jitsu, and getting your ass handed to you by literally everyone when you start, and learning to be humble was really eye-opening for me. In that context, I think I could see that your instructor was not trying to diss you, but help you improve by being honest. I was raised my whole life that you should never fail, but it has been so much easier and quite freeing that it is okay to fail, and that is part of improving. I recently got a very bright, very obnoxious Pac-Man hoodie. It is without a doubt the loudest thing I own. As I was heading out the door for work, my 3-year-old told me, "Remember, Dad, if people laugh at you, you can always take your sweatshirt off." The best part is he was genuinely just trying to give me some supportive advice. He just accidentally gave me the best burn I've received in years. I feel this. My kid told me, "Mom, you're so pretty." Well, your eyes and your hair. That's all, thanks son. I'm a quiet man, and I was an even quieter kid. I got invited over to some kid's house to play. Another kid there said that they only invited me over because they felt bad for me. He said it with no malice, in passing. I'm 33 now and it still stings. A good friend's girlfriend told me, "I love how not girly you are, and how you don't care about how you look." I think she genuinely meant it as a compliment, but both of those things were news to me. I got a "love how you just wear whatever" from a friend I was into once. Took me like 4 years till I remembered it, and went, "Oh, I was getting roasted." One time a girl I really disliked, we never had a fight or anything like that, I just really found her to be annoying and dumb, said we were similar in personality. I've heard it said that some of the people we dislike are those most similar to ourselves, because we see in them the things we hate about ourselves. It's certainly not always true, but it does explain why I sometimes want to strangle my sister. In middle school, the girl I had a crush on said I looked like a falcon. Never quite figured out how to take that one. Strong aquiline jaw, sharp eyes, and giant fucking talons for feet. There's a lot of people I think that kind of look like birds, like I've thought that about some people throughout the years. For me, that person usually has pointier features, and maybe their eyes are more angular, or perhaps the nose has a slight downward point at the end. It has nothing to do with being unattractive though, plenty of good-looking bird people. After being accused of dyeing my hair, a friend said I clearly don't dye my hair as nobody would choose shit-colored hair. I personally love shit-covered hair. Oh, you said colored, never mind. After a particularly satisfying love-making session, my wife turned to me and went to say, "You never fail to please." What she actually said was, "You never fail to disappoint." No, I never let her forget that one. My ex, looking at my naked body post-sex in the most genuine tone. "You know what you have a perfect boobs for? Surgery." I went to high school in the 90s with a girl who went on to become Miss USA. We were friends, there was no romance. 25 years later, her mother comes to my office, she didn't know I own the company, to drop off something we'd ordered. I was pleasantly surprised to see her, and we spent a few minutes catching up. Keep in mind, my entire staff is watching the conversation between me and this girl's mother. Finally she says, "My daughter thought the world of you, why didn't you two ever date?" I decided to try a little false modesty and responded, I wanted to date her, but she always liked handsome guys. Without batting an eye, she responded, "Oh yeah, that's right." Total devastation. I don't think she even realized what she'd said. My staff did, however, and they had the most fun with it. The rest of the day still comes up occasionally. I'm betting she was probably just doing an everyday task like 3 years later and suddenly realized what she'd said. I was doing the finishing touches on my makeup when Mom told us we needed to get going. I turned to my brother and asked him, "Do my brows look okay?" I was of course talking about if the color was even, since we were on our way out, and I wanted to know I looked presentable. My brother has autism, so he interpreted my question as a general query of his opinion on my eyebrows. So he went on a 2 or 3 minute roast, telling me everything wrong with my brows. I finally managed to say I meant the color. "Is the color even?" To which he responded, "Yeah," and walked out the door. Internally he's like, "Finally," she asked. "I've been holding on to this for years." My brother is on the spectrum, and I work with students with disabilities. No one can roast you like someone with autism, just being honest. Those kids truly let me know what they think of me, haha.